Hello cubs, and welcome back to my cozy den. We're here once more at the Sleeping Giant Inn in Riverwood, Skyrim for another book reading. So grab yourself a tankard of mead and pull up a bench by the fire. I do hope you enjoy this series, but if you have any suggestions or requests for what to read next, then let me know in the comments below. And now today for you, my cubs, we are going to be reading The Armourer's Challenge by Mimophanes. 300 years ago, when Kataraya became Empress, the first and only Dunmer to rule all of Tamriel, she faced opposition from the Imperial Council. Even after she convinced them that she would be the best regent to rule the empire, while her husband Pelagius sought treatment for his madness, there was still conflict. In particular from the Duke of Vengeto, Thane Minglemire, who took a particular delight in exposing all of the Empress's lack of practical knowledge. In this particular instance, Kataraya and the council were discussing the unrest in Blackmarsh and the massacre of Imperial troops outside the village of Ambiance. The sodden swampland and the sweltering climate, particular in summertide, would endanger the troops if they wore their usual armour. "I know a very clever armourer," said Kataraya. "His name is Hazadir, an Argonian who knows the environments our army will be facing. I knew him in Vivek, where he was a slave to the master armourer there, before he moved to the Imperial City as a freedman. We should have him design armour and weaponry for the campaign." Minglemire gave a short, barking laugh. She wants a slave to design the armour and weaponry for our troops. Cyrillus Sacus is the finest armourer in the Imperial City, everyone knows that. After much debate, it was finally decided to have both armourers contend for the commission. The council also elected 2 champions of equal power and prowess, Nandor Beraid and Raphaelus Yule, to battle using the arms and armaments of the real competitors in the struggle. Whichever champion won, the armourer who supplied him would earn the Imperial Commission. It was decided that Beraid would be outfitted by Hazadir, and Yule by Sacus. The fight was scheduled to commence in 7 days. Cyrillus Sacus began work immediately. He would have preferred more time, but he recognized the nature of the test. The situation in Arminius was urgent. The Empire had to select their armourer quickly, and once selected, the preferred armourer had to act swiftly and produce the finest armour and weaponry for the Imperial army in Blackmarsh. It wasn't just the best armourer they were looking for. It was the most efficient. Sacus had only begun steaming the half-inch strips of black virgin oak to bend into bands for the flanges of the armour joints when there was a knock at his door. His assistant, Fandius, ushered in the visitor. It was a tall reptilian of common markings, a dull green-fringed hood, bright black eyes and a dull brown cloak. It was Hazadir, Kataria's preferred armorer. I wanted to wish you the best of luck on the... Is that ebony? It was indeed. Sakis had bought the finest quality ebony weave available in the Imperial City as soon as he heard of the competition, and had begun the process of smelting it. Normally, it was a 6-month procedure refining the ore, but he hoped that a massive convection oven stoked by white flames born of magicka would shorten the operation to 3 days. Sakis proudly pointed out the other advancements in his armory. The acidic lime pulls to sharpen the blade of the daikatana to an unimaginable degree of sharpness. The akaviri forge and tongues he would use to fold the ebony back and forth upon itself. Hazadir laughed. Have you been to my armory? It's 2 tiny smoke-filled rooms. The front is a shop. The back is filled with broken armor, some hammers, and a forge. That's it. That's your competition for the millions of gold pieces in Imperial commission. I'm sure the Empress has some reason to trust you to outfit her troops, said Cyrillus Sakis kindly. He had, after all, seen the shop and knew that what Hazadir said was true. It was a pathetic workshop in the slums, fit only for the lowliest of adventurers to get their iron daggers and cuirasses repaired. Sakis had decided to make the best quality regardless of the inferiority of his rival. It was his way, and how he became the best armorer in the Imperial City. Out of kindness, and more than a bit of pride, Sakis showed Hazadir how, by contrast, things should be done in a real professional armory. The Argonian acted as an apprentice to Sakis, helping him refine the ebony ore, and to pound it and fold it when it cooled. Over the next several days they worked together to create a beautiful daikatana, with an edge honed sharp enough to trim a mosquito's eyebrows, enchanted with flames along its length by one of the Imperial battle mages, as well as a suit of armor of bound wood, leather, silver and ebony to resist the winds of oblivion. On the day of the battle, Sakis, Hazadir, and Fandius finished polishing the armor and brought in Raphaelus Yule for the fitting. Hazadir left only then, realizing that Nandor Barade would be at his shop shortly to be outfitted. The 2 warriors met before the Empress and Imperial Council in the arena, which had been flooded slightly to simulate the swampy conditions of Blackmarsh. From the moment Sakis saw Yule in his suit of heavy ebony and blazing daikatana, and Barade in his collection of dusty, rusted lizard scales and spear from Hazadir's shop, he knew who would win. And he was right. The first blow from the daikatana lodged in Barade's soft shield, as there was no metal trim to deflect it. Before Yule could pull his sword back, Barade let go of the now flaming shield, still stuck on the sword, and poked at the joints of Yule's ebony armor with his spear. Yule finally retrieved his sword from the ruined shield and slashed at Barade, but his light armor was scaled and angled, and the attacks rolled off into the water, extinguishing the daikatana's flames. When Berade struck at Yule's feet, he fell into the churned mud and was unable to move. The Empress, out of mercy, called a victor. Hazadeh received the commission, and thanks to his knowledge of Argonian battle tactics and weaponry, and how best to combat them, he designed implements of war that brought down the insurrection in Arminius. Catariah won the respect of the council, and even, grudgingly, that of Thane Minglemire. Cyrillus Saccus went to Morrowind to learn what Hazadeh learned there, and was never heard from again. Well, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this one, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to support this channel. It really means a lot and makes a big difference. And don't forget to check out my other socials in the description below and join in the foxy fun all day every day. Alright my cubs, until next time, stay cozy.